From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 on Fox 43.
A horrifying case of child abuse is back in court today. What's next for the Eastern Shore mother who kept her own kids in cages?
Plus, declining to testify. The big feud happening on Capitol Hill and what it means for Attorney General William Barr and the Mueller report.
And a happy homecoming. Which crew is arriving at Naval Station Norfolk today?
Right now at 7:32, we have to update you on some breaking news in Portsmouth. That's where a widespread power outage is creating problems for people trying to get to school. Norfolk Naval Shipyard, Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, and City Hall. More than 13,000 people are in the dark. That number is down from the 21,000 earlier this morning. Here's a live look at Dominion Energy's power outage map. And we spoke with the Dominion Energy spokeswoman, and she says transmission line issues are causing 12 circuit outages.
This is a live look from Port Center Parkway and Court Street in Portsmouth. You can see police are directing traffic there. And because of the power outage, Portsmouth Public Schools are on a 2-hour delay this morning. City Hall is also in the dark, and we're still working to figure out how that will operate today. Also, dispatchers tell us there are streetlight issues by the shipyard and the Naval Hospital. Only one lane at the back gate of the Naval Hospital is open. Dominion Energy estimates power will be back on by 9:30 this morning. We're going to continue to follow this breaking story and bring you any new updates on air and online.
We now have Dominion Energy spokeswoman Bonita Harris on the phone.
So, Bonita, what can you tell us about what's going on right now? It seems like your crews have been able to fix this fairly quickly so far.
Yes, thank you so much for all of your coverage this morning and for showing those numbers going down. Our crews are focused on restoring power to as many people as quickly as possible. And I just got word that Portsmouth Naval Hospital is back on, so that's great news. We've been focusing on getting the hospitals and the schools on as quickly as possible. But as you said, this power outage did affect nearly half of the city starting at about 5:30 this morning. And it originally was over 21,000 customers affected, and we're now down to less than 10,000. And we expect to have the vast majority of customers affected back on by 9:30 this morning.
Hey, Bonita, do we know what caused the problem? Because normally when we hear something this widespread, it's either weather or an accident. But do we know a cause yet?
That's true, and we do not have a cause at this point. It's still under investigation, and as soon as I know, you'll know.
Okay, and for future reference for people, sometimes I think, you know, they see this, they're like, 21,000 people are already without power. I don't need to call in and report my outage. True or not true?
Not true. We still encourage people to call in and report your outages just to make sure that we know that you are out. Because what happens is we try to restore power to the transmission lines and the distribution lines that affect the most customers first and work our way down to those that affect the least. So we want to make sure that you're on the list so we can get to your house as quickly as possible.
And Bonita, another question for you. For folks whose power is now out, is there anything they should do in addition to calling you? Anything they should do before the power comes back on or when the power comes back on?
Well, one thing we encourage people to do is turn off their major electrical appliances if they can, and maybe leave one light on so that you know when the power does come back on, and then wait a few minutes before turning all of the lights back on so there's no major surges that could cause them to go back out. So that's one tip that helps. Another tip is you can report your power outage right on your smartphone at DominionEnergy.com. That's even better than calling in. It's quicker, and we're able to get it into the system faster.
All right, thanks so much. Dominion Energy spokesperson Bonita Billingsley Harris on the phone with us talking about power outages this morning that at one point affected more than half the city of Portsmouth. Those are down to now 10,000 people. The rest of you should expect to be back on by 9:30 this morning. Don?
And thanks, Bonita. Our time now is 7:36. Happening today, an Accomack County woman will find out how long she'll spend behind bars for keeping her children in cages. Melissa Ness Hopkins pleaded guilty to several charges in the case last year. 10 News Side's Kiana Patterson joins us now live in the newsroom with a closer look at the case and the crimes. Kiana?
Hey, Don. Prosecutors say Melissa Ness Hopkins kept 2 of her 5 young children in cages in Accomack County, and she pleaded guilty to 5 counts of child abuse. Here's a look at her house in Mears, Virginia. In the front yard, you can tell children used to live here. and deputies arrested her in July of 2017 after social workers say they were living in horrible conditions. They say they found trash, rotting food, and fleas. And she told the judge that she felt overwhelmed after her boyfriend died taking care of young children under the age of 6 years old. Now, she is scheduled for a sentencing this morning at 9:30, and she could face 5 years in prison for each of the 5 counts. In the newsroom, Kiana Patterson, 10 on your side.
Kiana, thank you. Sailors with the guided missile destroyer USS Mitchell returned home to Hampton Roads today. The more than 300-person crew spent about 7 months helping with operations in the Middle East and Europe. For nearly half the crew, this was their first deployment. 10 on your side will be pierside for the homecoming at Naval Station Norfolk, and look for coverage on WAVY News 10 midday. Our time now 7:37, still to come this Thursday morning. Budget vote. The new overnight details about North Carolina's 2-year spending plan and how it affects teachers. Plus, violence in Venezuela, the power struggle within the country, and what President Donald Trump is saying about the situation. And here's a live look outside through Tower Cam 10. Grab a water bottle. We're talking near record heat today. Meteorologist Jeremy Wheeler tracking it all next in your Super Doppler 10 forecast.